All right, just want to make this quick video, just kind of explain to you a little bit how my company does it as far as property management. So I've got just a sample fee breakdown. I'm going to go over some of the the rental management agreement with you. It'll be between us and you, and then this is actually what we get the tenants to sign. And there's a couple important things in here that I want to make sure that you understand. But first off the bat, we have two kinds of clients. We have people that just want us to find a tenant, and then they're going to handle the monthly management from there. We do that for them. We'll put it on the market. We'll get pictures of it made. We'll handle the showings. We'll get them, once we receive an application that we think is pretty good, we'll call the owner and review the application with them. And if they agree to lease to that person, then we'll go ahead and collect a security deposit, first month's rent. We'll get them to sign, that person's lease, not our lease. And the charge for that service is equal to 1 month's rent. So if you're just wanting us to find a tenant, we do that all the time. It's something we're pretty good at. So if the property rents for $800 a month, then our fee would be $800, equal to 1 month's rent. The tenant placement and management, is equal to half the first month's rent, and then it's 10% per month after that. So on this one down here, we do the screening. We get them to sign our Powerhouse Realty rental agreement, which we'll go over in a second. The security deposit and first month's rent is made out to us. We direct deposit that to your account at the beginning of every month. We handle all the maintenance requests. If there's late fees, we go out there and we post notices to the door. That's kind of the all-encompassing property management. We handle the maintenance request up to $500. I'll cover that in a second in this management agreement. So this is the management agreement that you'll sign with us if you decide to have us manage the property. Basically what it's saying here is that it's up to the owner. It's up to you to make sure that the property is in, good enough condition that it's not going to cause any kind of issue that would, put liability back on yourself or the company. This section here talks about repairs. So if we get a call to our office and maintenance needs to be done, and we get a contractor out there to do the maintenance, whether it's an electrical, person, a air conditioner, technician, we basically have a $500 maintenance limit. So if it's under $500, then we just go ahead and let them do it. We deduct that from the amount that you get direct deposit. So if you're renting, if your property's renting out for $800 a month, and there's an $80 property management fee, and there's a $150 HVAC repair, because the unit was low on Freon, then we just take that $800, we deduct the $80 for the management fee, we deduct the $150 for the air conditioner being repaired, and we direct deposit to you what is left over. So here it talks about it's 10% of the gross rent collected. So if we don't collect, then we don't get paid either. If there's late fees added onto that, and there are, I'll cover that on the rental agreement. If they pay late and we collect, 35 extra bucks or 50 extra bucks, then we get 10% of that as well. This is one thing that's important under the insurance thing. It says owner further agrees to carry landlord's liability insurance with minimum limits of $500,000 per occurrence. So your homeowner's insurance policy may cover that, but you need to make sure. That's very important. You don't want to leave yourself out there for a potential lawsuit. And that's basically it. So down here, we'll just need, some of your information. And Callan will go through this information and make sure we've got you set up in the computer correctly. You'll have a owner portal where you can log in at any time and see what's going on with your account, pull profit and loss statements for each property that you've got. And it's really, really a great system. And so here's our lease. So this is a lease that we just had drawn up by a probably the area's leading landlord tenant attorney. And so there's just a couple things I want you to point out here. This is the lease that we get all the tenants to sign. One thing that we are very, very adamant about under here is where we put in the rental terms. Tenants are required to pay electronically via their online tenant portal. There's no additional charge if using an ACH draft or electronic check or bank draft. There is an additional service charge if using a credit or debit card. Powerhouse Realty does not accept cash checks, money orders, or cashier's checks. So the reason why we do that is so in the past when I worked at a property management company, our rent was due on the 5th of the month, and from about the 28th of the month until the 5th of the month, so about 7 to 10 days there. We had half of our staff up front just taking one rental payment after the other because people came to the office. They would drop off cash, they would drop off checks, and it was just a total nightmare of keeping it all together. We had to run to the bank like every 2 hours to make deposits, and it was really, really just time consuming. So we've got this online system where the tenants log in and they pay their rent online using an ACH draft, a bank draft. They can set it up to do it the same day every month if they want to, or they can just type their routing number, checking account number, and it pays automatically, and there's no extra fee for them to do that. One thing that we found too in doing this rental stuff is that the people who pay electronically tend to, for the most part, be better clients. They understand technology. They're easy to get in touch with. Most of them are doing this from a smartphone. They're not doing it from one of these. They don't have the prepaid phones, the burner phones. So like when we need to get in touch with the tenant for whatever reason, they've got a smartphone that they're paying for every month because they're so used to having a smartphone. Whereas the people who have the little burner phones or the prepaid cards they buy at the tobacco store, you might have one phone number in the system, and then when you really need to contact them, that number's been disconnected for 2 or 3 months, and you can't get in touch with them. So this really, really makes our life in the office so much easier, so that we can spend our time doing things that make more sense. It doesn't make sense for us to spend 25% of our month just sitting at the office taking in rental payments. So that's important. Tenants are responsible for the payment of all utilities. We actually, before we get them to sign the lease and give them possession of the property, we require them to go to the utility providers and make sure that the utilities have been transferred to their name. We do not allow certain breeds of animals. It says right here, pit bulls, Staffordshire Terriers. You can read those there for insurance reasons. It's just in our lease that we're not going to allow those type of dogs. And so that's a good thing for you. And that's basically everything else in here is pretty vanilla. There's nothing really else in here that's really out of the ordinary. Pretty basic. But again, that's just kind of an overview of what you could expect with us, how it would go moving forward. Once we get you set up in the system, you'll be able to see how your owner portal looks. The tenants also have a tenant portal where they log in and they can submit maintenance requests and stuff like that. So that's it. If you have any other questions, feel free to reach out to me.